Hey, it's Vegas, and in the light of the new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer drop, I've been binge-watching a lot of Spider-Man video essays, and it's become pretty clear to me that we're still arguing over who's the better Spider-Man? Now don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with friendly discussion. My problem mainly lies in the fact that some of the videos I've seen talking about Spider-Man put one version of the character on a pedestal while completely throwing another version under the bus, or in this case, off a building. Butterfingers! And that's not cool. By completely ignoring how someone feels about their favorite movie, you're enabling them from wanting to participate in further discussion. Now, I don't mean to lecture and I don't mean to preach, but if you discuss movies like that, you're a son of a beach. Okay, that one was pretty bad, but you get the point. That's not discussion. That's gatekeeping. My man Chev Talks actually made a really good video discussing this topic. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description. Go watch it. Anyway, that's not the reason for me making this video. You see, the reason why I'm making this video is not to criticize the people who hate on MCU Spidey, though they receive a lot. It's not to try to convince you that liking Raimi Spidey is wrong, because it's not. Just to tell you why I personally relate to MCU Spider-Man more.
Didn't ask.
Shut up. Oh. Now, I should probably get this out of the way first. I love the Raimi movies. I grew up watching them and vividly remember trying to crawl up walls as a kid and asking my parents to pile a bunch of pillows on me so I can burst out of them. Hell, some of the most laughter I've ever had during a movie was watching the extended cut of Spider-Man 2 for the first time, so I definitely don't mean to hate on these movies. But I find myself throwing on Homecoming and Far From Home more often than the Raimi movies, at least at the moment. In other words, I feel that aspect of my life is subject to change, as a result of growth. Let me explain. Think about your favorite Spider-Man story, hell, even your favorite story in general. More often than not, the main character of that story changes. They're presented with an obstacle or a problem, and in the face of that problem, must find a way to overcome it, usually by changing a certain flawed aspect of themselves in the process. They grow. Spider-Man Homecoming is a movie where Peter Parker is pretty cocky, literally jumping headfirst into situations he's not exactly prepared for, because he feels like he should be doing more. And why wouldn't he? In the movie before he effectively battles half the Avengers, it stands to reason why he'd want to be taken seriously in the eyes of Tony Stark. It's only after underestimating the Vulture and doing everything in his power to save a literal boatload of people is he humbled. Iron Man takes the suit he made for Peter away and tells him,
"If you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it, okay?"
But as a real hero should do, he doesn't give up. He uses the suit he made for himself to stop the villain. It's a movie about Peter Parker learning to be Spider-Man. While Far From Home is a movie about Spider-Man learning to be Peter Parker, as he learns to trust himself again and not feel like he has to become the next Iron Man because even the great Tony Stark made mistakes. He also kisses Zendaya, which is, not really the point. I just wanted to mention that. Anyway, that's not to say that there isn't great moments of growth in the Raimi flicks either, though in my opinion it's usually directed towards the villains, which works just as well, but there was always one problem I had while rewatching those movies. Tobey Maguire is old. He's dealing with adult problems, adult situations, he struggles to pay rent, keep a steady job, and has to watch the love of his life get married, all while trying to make it to his own college classes on time. He's adulting. While Tom Holland is, as we all know, the youngest actor to play the character, and is just that. Young. He's going to high school, lives with his aunt, has to do homework, has one real friend, and still wants to find a date to Homecoming. He's a kid. But wait. I'm a kid. I know what it feels like to be going to high school, struggle with doing homework, have a small group of friends to talk to, all while trying to find a girlfriend. I know it's a meme, but that's literally me. Spider-Man Homecoming came out when I was a sophomore in high school. I was living what Spider-Man was living. Granted, I couldn't climb up walls or was dealing with the burden of having to fight crime, but I kind of understood the dynamic of high school life. I was struggling to go to after-school theater rehearsals, something I was falling out of in favor of making stupid videos with my friends, which I was growing more and more passionate about, juggling two different lives, just like Peter in that movie. Fast forward 2 years and I'm a senior in high school watching Far From Home for the first time in theaters, with plans to go to film school, take a trip to Nebraska for my Superior Acting Award, and make a summer short film. And then, COVID hit. And suddenly my plans to grow into an adult were put on hold. I was forced to finish my senior year of high school at home, so I took a year. Waited to go to film school in fear of taking online classes, cause where's the fun in that? Dealt with the fact that I wasn't going to Nebraska, so I started a YouTube channel. Fast forward another year and I'm 19 now, getting ready to join the military to pay for film school and still living with my parents. That's definitely not what Tobey Maguire did in Spider-Man 1. So how could you blame me for going back and rewatching MCU Spidey to reminisce on my high school life that was so unfortunately cut short? Now again, this video isn't trying to convince you this is why I like this version of the character and you should too, just why I like this version of the character. I'm aware I have a completely anecdotal opinion on Tom Holland's Spidey compared to the next guy, but I also know that in 3 to 5 years from now, I'll feel completely different. I'll know exactly what Maguire's Spidey is going through because I'll be living it, paying rent, going to college, dealing with a relationship. I'll have grown just like Spider-Man. But until then, I'm perfectly happy rewatching Homecoming, Far From Home, and eventually No Way Home, hoping that one day we'll all be able to love each other even if we love different Spider-Men. Except for this guy. Fuck this guy. Bye!